Welcome, everyone.
I know, I am so delayed.
This blackness on your screen is brought to you by Scott's old computer.
There it is. I finally see the video. Okay. That's all I saw was the blackness. I didn't even see any of the video, so that's always fun. But hey, welcome everybody to a Wednesday Humpty Dump edition. And there is our guest popping back in, having some issues. My computer sucks, so I got to give it a second for her device to connect with my StreamYards. But until that happens, we have a great show for you. And joining us is the great Culture Casino.
Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Appreciate it. I'm doing well.
Your guests will need to connect their mic and cam before you can add them. So, Kiri, if you can hear me, either your mic's not on or you're something. Nick, how are you tonight? Wow, I am so off my game, even worse than usual. Nick, how are you?
I'm doing well. Nothing much going on my end. I've got a few irons in the fire, so yeah.
All right. Sam, the McCabe brothers are here. How are you, Sam?
I am very well, thank you very much. Just trying not to melt. It's really hot down here at the moment. But apart from that, I'm far more concerned with how you guys are.
Well, I am at the beginning of what is supposed to be 13 to 16 inches of snow tonight. So good times.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. It just started snowing a little bit ago, and we're supposed to have blizzard-like conditions. So if all of a sudden, I think Kiri is here now, if all of a sudden my I completely go out and never come back, that is the problem. We will be having blizzard-like conditions. And there's our guest, one of my friends from, I would say, the beginning, but we've never really gotten too many. I think we've only streamed once together. It's from the show. I want to say it's a show, Kiri Morning. My good friend, Kiri Howard. How are you, Kiri?
Hi.
How is it going on your side of the world?
It's not bad. I have a bit of an eye infection, it seems, so that's why I'm not on camera today.
Oh, don't worry about that.
Started on my show Geek Speak last night, but it seems to have gotten worse.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but that's all right because my computer wouldn't be able to handle your video as much. So don't worry about that. But I'm glad you're here on the dump. We're going to be going over topics. We know this for facts. People that have watched my show, topics I didn't put in the title. But last but not least, we have Makani Night. How are you? What's that?
Yeah. Said it sounds like on my show.
Yeah. We got about the same flow. Don't worry about that. But Makani, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great, sir. Good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome to the Wednesday Humpty Dump. Happy to be here.
Well, I'm happy to have you. And in the chat, we have the great Tina Bojan, who's saying, good evening, friends. Welcome to the Humpty Dump. According to Christie, God, I miss her. Where the hell is she? According to Christie, and I'm guessing that is a poop emoji. We have Makani up in the place. We have Culture Casino with $1.49 Doomacorn. There you go. Thank you. Who else do we have here? We have Diablo Dame. How are you? I can never say this name. Go for it, Culture.
For Cavatinho Che.
Cavatinho Che. Thank you for the coffee, poop, toilet, and I don't know what the last symbol is, clock, because I am never on time. Thank you. Republic Fielder Gaming. Good to see you. Hey, Deviant Porg. Haven't seen you in a while, brother. How are you? Brutal Morning Wood is in the house. Always Karen Prime, a channel member. How are you? Runner is here. Keek 44 is here. And others will be coming by. And who is this? This is the great Script Doctor joining us. Hello, Script Doctor. Oh, no, he's gone. What is going on tonight? We will find out. And another monster. How are you, my friend? While we wait for Script Doctor, let's see what is going to be our first topic. Our first topic tonight. God, I'm not in the game tonight, Kiri. The first topic tonight is a new Star Wars rumor claims Rian Johnson is secretly writing Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron movie. How do people feel about that?
Oh, God, no.
Well, let me ask you this, Kiri, and the panel. Do we believe it's a true? Is it true? I mean, I know we're taking it as a grain of salt, but do you think it's more than a 50% chance?
I don't know. I mean, considering that he's been pretty much silent for a while that I know of, and it doesn't seem to be a trilogy like he kept bragging about.
Right.
I would have to say 50-50.
Yeah.
But knowing Kathleen Kennedy,
right.
I wouldn't put it past her.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I'm with Kiri on that. I wouldn't put it past Kathleen Kennedy to do some shady shit, but Patty Jenkins, she's got movies behind her, so I'm sort of on it. It's probably just a rumor.
Probably just a rumor. Sam, do you agree?
Yeah, I think it's just a rumor at this stage, but if Rian Johnson wants to subvert my expectations, well, they're already pretty low, so...
Ain't that true?
Already go a bit up.
That's true. That's true. Makani?
I'm gonna say it's just a rumor, and I'm hoping that it just stays as a rumor. We need a restraining order from Rian Johnson to not be just keep him like 50, 70. Anything with Star Wars on it, he needs to be far away from it.
Right. What about you, Culture? I know you know a little of the end game when it comes to Disney. My question is this: they did such a nice, 2-3 minute advertisement for this with Jenkins talking about how she used to watch her father fly off with his squadron as a fighter pilot. And would you really think that Rian Johnson would write the movie that she's claiming to? Well, is she even claiming to write it? Let me know that. I don't even know.
I don't think there's any truth to this. Just based on my takeaway from the show, which again, with the announcement, surprised many of the folks that were working on the pre-production for it. So I would say it doesn't seem like Ryan's involved, based on the things that I've heard. So. If he gets involved or if he's been invited to be involved, again, that's news to me, and the project itself will suffer because of it. So, we'll just cross our fingers and hope that this stays firmly in the rumor category or in the let's make the fan base go bananas category, because they like to do that. I mean, Taika Waititi does it. Everybody that has been affiliated with the Star Wars brand of late likes to do it. So let's just hope that it stays a rumor.
I'm with you. Runner has a good point. I believe he's working on the sequel to Knives Out. So does he have the time to write this movie, write and direct the other movie? I know they juggle a lot of different things, but he would want so much credit if he's writing a Star Wars movie because of everything he's gone through with the trilogy that he announced he was getting. So I don't know, but we're going to read this in a minute. Yeah, go ahead.
Rian Johnson.
Say that again.
Yeah, that's the kind of vibe that I get from Rian Johnson. That how do I put that? I put it so many ways before that. He's a bit of an I am. He's the type of person who'd write something, but let's just say Last Jedi. It's all about him. He doesn't care about other IPs. It's all him. It's all his stuff, and that's why I think Knives Out was received so well because it's his and he only has eyes for his stuff.
You know what? That's true, man. I didn't think of it that way.
So any other IP is just, it's just.
I mean, he said canon means nothing to him. He straight out came out and said that when it came to Star Wars, he doesn't care what happened before, what's going to happen after, just his movie. So that's a valid point, man.
And that's the vibe that I get from him. It's all about his stuff.
Honestly, I'm surprised his head can fit in the room.
Yeah.
Hey, look, his politics belie everything that you just said. So there you are. I mean,
there you are. There you are. You're right. And his head is that gargantuan head. It's like an orange on a toothpick. All right. So why don't we have Culture read us a little before we, stop him with grunts and moans?
Okay. Well, prepare to grunt and moan. Whoa. There you go. All right. Well, you got that out of your system, I hope, Maki. Yeah. And here we go.
Practiced.
A new Star Wars rumor claims Rian Johnson is secretly writing Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron movie. This is by John F. Trent from Bounding Into Comics, written today, December 16th of 2020. As we continue, the latest rumor circling Star Wars is that The Last Jedi director, Rian Johnson, might still be working on Star Wars, and that he might secretly be writing Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron movie.
That thumbnail says it all right there. Look at poor Han. Oh God.
Yeah, that's called getting shish kebabbed. All right. So yes. Wonder Woman 1984 director Patty Jenkins was announced to be the director of the upcoming Rogue Squadron film at Disney Investor Day 2020. Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy made the announcement declaring, "And to close today, I couldn't be more excited that our next Star Wars feature film will be directed by Patty Jenkins." Patty,
woman.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Somebody who murders every single thing that she's given. But here we go. Anyway, Patty, director of the Wonder Woman franchise, will bring her inspired vision to Rogue Squadron. This story will introduce a new generation of starfighter pilots as they earn their wings and risk their lives in a boundary-pushing, high-speed thrill ride, Kennedy added. She concluded, "The legend of Rogue Squadron has been long beloved by Star Wars fans and will move us into a future era of the galaxy. Rogue Squadron will be released in theaters Christmas of 2023.
Okay, question. When is Rogue Squadron supposed to be taking place? It has to be after Rogue One because there wasn't a Rogue Squadron before that, correct? Didn't they honor them with that name?
If I remember correctly, Rogue Squadron was Luke Skywalker's squadron.
Right. Rogue 5, Rogue One. Or wait a minute, Red. He was Red, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
At 5 standing by.
Rogue.
Yep. I think you're correct. If anybody in the chat knows, throw it in there. Now, Patty Jenkins, I'll give her credit. That first Wonder Woman, I loved it. I love the first Wonder Woman. I think it's a great origin film for a DC character, brought some levity and color back, originally to DC. And then Aquaman filled that in with a lot of neon. But what I'm hearing of the second movie, it doesn't sound like it's going to be too great. They did make sure to announce that she's directing. They didn't say writing. They said directing. So I don't know. Maybe somebody is directing this. Another monster says he was Red and then it became Rogue and it was an honor of them. It was Wedges, says Roof Korean 92. Roof Korean says Wedge went on to create Rogue Squadron after ROTJ, so Return of the Jedi. And Luke, our good friend Paulie from Latino Slant says, yes, it was tons of honor, the Rogue One spies who died. Yeah, it was to honor them. Feel free to jump on too, Paulie, if you have nothing else going on. All right, read on, my friend.
Oh, my lightsaber is going off. It must know we're talking about Star Wars. Okay. Following this announcement, Patty Jenkins spoke with Collider about the upcoming film, where she denied to reveal who was writing the script, but seemingly implied it was a man. Jenkins stated, "I want him to have his own proper announcement, so I'm going to wait until that comes out." She then went on to provide an update on where she and this unnamed writer were in the writing process. Jenkins explained, "We're very far into we're finishing the treatment, basically." Yeah, because you haven't written a script, so shut up. Which is pretty big. So it ends up being like where you're fairly close to a well-along screenplay by the time I'm done with the treatment in my process. So yeah, we've been working on it for a while. It's going great. I'm super excited about it. I'm super excited about the story.
No, she said it twice. That's dangerous. She said super excited twice. And another quick thing is Rian Johnson only writes one thing. It's one, and then he's done. He writes it, he gets it approved, and he makes a film. That's what we learned from The Last Jedi. Don't forget about that. Okay, dead silence. All right, anybody can talk at any time. Why don't you read on, Culture?
In a video posted to Twitter, Jenkins describes Rogue Squadron as the greatest fighter pilot movie of all time. The gossip concerning Johnson being the unannounced and secret script writer of Rogue Squadron comes from Inside the Magic. Writer Rebecca Barton speculates that the reason the scriptwriter isn't or wasn't announced is because it could be Rian Johnson. She writes, "One potential reason for not sharing the screenwriter's name is that it might be Rian Johnson." Well, thank you. You've said that 6 times. As for why they might not want to announce... Oh, sorry?
What do they hope to achieve by keeping that in the dark?
Yeah, I don't know.
Did they
Anger?
surprise us all?
Trying to maybe wait for the anger to subside. I don't know.
Yeah, I would think maybe waiting for an actual trailer so that if it is received well, then they can drop that it was Rian Johnson, if that is who it is. But yeah, keeping the person's secret's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a bit soft. Like, are they going to get to opening night and go, ta-da, it was actually a Rian Johnson film, sucked in?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a really good question. Shady. That's a really good question. It is. It's frustrating, and it's... Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I look, it doesn't actually matter. I'm dumbfounded that this is a plan. So
yeah,
you know, it makes zero sense to anyone for him to even be mentioned in the same word as Star Wars ever again. For creating the singularly most divisive film of all time when it comes to Star Wars. And believe me, that was hard to do after Phantom Menace. But
yeah, I don't know. I think Phantom Menace looks like a canon-driven, great story compared to this. You know what I mean? Like this, The Last Jedi was garbage.
The Phantom Menace looks like Citizen Kane compared to Last Jedi.
Much better
and
than what I
agree with Larry. It's like, listen, just if it's Rian Johnson, just change your name to Alan Smithy or something, because we don't want to know, and it that's just going to ruin our experience of wanting to watch it.
Yeah, you would think that with the fan backlash for the past 3 years or whatever, that they wouldn't even consider putting his name to anything Star Wars ever again. That would be the smart thing to do. But we are talking about Disney and Kathleen Kennedy here, after all.
Right. And that's the thing, is Kathleen Kennedy trying to flex some muscle. If it is Rian Johnson, again, we don't know. But if it is this her way of flexing muscle, saying I'm still in charge? Like,
I mean,
I'm bringing him in.
Could this be called failing upwards, do you think?
Oh. Go dive into that, because that's a good concept. So what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, if The Last Jedi is as divisive a film as you said it was, I mean, I kind of call this failing upwards. I mean, maybe that's the kind of that, you know, maybe that's what they're doing. I mean, it seems to be a pattern that's going on right now. You create a divisive film, you hack the fans off, and then they go, oh yeah, we're going to give you a new film just to create the controversy. I mean, what do they call it? All publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, no such thing as bad publicity.
Kathleen Kennedy is going to be in for a rude bloody shock.
Yes. And you know what? Roof Korean 92 does say it pretty well. Rian Johnson is so conceited and uppity, he would never take a backseat in defeat. His ego would never let him stay quiet. And I agree with that.
In response to that, I mean, if this is a rumor, I mean, if his ego is so big, I mean, we might not have to wait that long before he brags about it. So keep your ears to the ground, everyone. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I thought I knew that name. Alan Smithy is great. He did the 1984 Dune. I couldn't remember. I knew that name from somewhere. Kiri, did you say something right before Nick? Were you about to?
No, I was just agreeing.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's read on and see how they're trying to fill this one in, because I just can't see it personally.
You know, I'm going to ask a question, and this is just based on information that I had come across, heard, whatever words you want to use. What if George Lucas wrote this?
Oh,
that would be amazing.
Okay, so just put that away, file that in your little cabinet somewhere. Just
Culture Casino. Let's print that 7:41 Eastern time.
Again, it's just there was conversation around George being involved as not more than just a story consultant for one of the new projects for Disney. So
I think they might gain a lot more respect and fan points if he is the writer. Because so many people have been saying bring George back, that if they actually did that, that would be really good. Fuck, my brain's not working.
Publicity?
No,
publicity,
I hear you. Yeah. Publicity, but it would also do a lot to mend fences with fans.
Yes, that's what I was going for. It's very early.
I'm with you. Don't worry. I'm connected with you, my friend. Think about that. Keep it quiet as long as you can, and then you drop that bomb after a trailer, in the trailer. Directed by Patty Jenkins, written by George Lucas. Dun, 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 I would go insane. I might feel like 11-year-old kid again, like a smile ear to ear. It could be a shit movie, but if I knew George wrote it, it's his shit, and I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of fans are gonna feel that way too, and that might be the direction they're going.
Yeah. I'm with you. Latino Slant asks, isn't Johnson technically still under contract for more Star Wars films under KK? This may be true. That's a good question, Paulie. I don't know if he is, because he was contracted, I believe, he said at least for the trilogy. But contracts can be broken or bought out. So I don't know. Any of you guys know? Anybody?
No.
Not at all. Okay.
Sure, anyway. I mean, he's been talking about it since The Last Jedi, but we've not seen anything solid.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. I'm with you. Alan Smithy is actually the name of a director used when he didn't want to be associated with the film that the studio forced him to make. Oh, I think I've heard Nerd Cookies talk about that before in a live stream we had. Because I know I've heard the name. But thank you, Another Monster. Very knowledgeable. And Paulie again says, Lucas, ? Oh my God, please make it so, Cuddles. Why don't you read on, Cuddles?
Wow. Okay. Well, back to my real radio announcer voice. As for why they might not want to announce Johnson, Barton explains, The Last Jedi garnered so much backlash for a wide variety of reasons, from fans disliking certain characters to loathing the storyline, that it wouldn't be surprising if Disney and Lucasfilm decided it was best to not bring Johnson's name up at an event that was meant to get fans excited about the future of Star Wars.
So they have no faith in him.
It's like, why bother? It's like, if they have no faith in him, why? If they know he's shit, why are they keeping him on?
Well, because Kathleen Kennedy thinks he's wonderful. You remember what they said about, or what she said about his script for Last Jedi? She thought it was like the best thing ever and approved the first draft.
Yeah,
accounting for taste then.
but Carrie Fisher also called him an asshole in the Return of the Jedi.
Because she's awesome. She's awesome. God rest her soul. Makini, love you, but while you're drawing, can you just mute a little bit? Because all I can hear is your pencil going. And I hope it's a work of art. I hope you show it to us at the end. Just mute while you're doing it.
Sorry.
That's all. No worries, man. Yeah, I don't know. I think, again, Rian Johnson, his ego would not allow him not to say something, somehow drop a hint, drop a tweet, something that tells people he's involved. Now, Lucas, on the other hand, Lucas can keep a secret. He would, knowing him, he could write the whole thing as a ghost, like, Alan Smithy, as George Lucas, like he could have a pen name of some sort, and he doesn't need the glory. He just wants a good story. Wow, that kind of rhymed.
No, it does.
I didn't even plan that.
No glory.
No guts, no glory.
Yeah. I don't know. Just I think KK has the balls. Anybody?
Well, I honestly, because the way she's praised Rian Johnson in the past, it wouldn't surprise me if he is. But and the way they treated George Lucas after the handover, it's really hard to say. But maybe they're finally realizing how bad they fucked up, and are changing gears and going the right way.
Right.
But it remains to be seen.
Right. But look what Favreau did. Favreau reached out to Lucas in the first season, before the first season of The Mandalorian, got him involved with some of the creative ideas in The Mandalorian. He was on set. That photo is priceless of Filoni, Favreau, and Lucas all sitting in the front row with KK behind them with the dagger eyes. And maybe she's realizing she took a misstep. She believed, there's quotes out there and people I've heard talking about, she really believed she was fundamentally going to change Star Wars to what she wanted it to be. Yeah, you're right. Oh, it's pathetic. Culture, Makini.
Believing that she could fundamentally change for the better, change it for her own image, but she ended up changing Star Wars more for the worse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. I do like this one. Someone shot KK with a tranq dart before she recorded that stream. Karen Pride, she has the balls all right, and the brass neck. I got you on that one. Soul Assassin says, I think they know they failed with the sequel, since all the Star Wars announcement shows don't take place within the sequel era. That is another valid point. They don't even go. They're not even close to the sequel era, or right past it, which you would have thought, instead of, someone who died in Rogue One getting his own series, one of the guys from, the sequel getting their own series made more sense. But it does seem like they're trying to get far away, maybe do the, an alternate universe. I don't know, but we'll see. Culture, is there more to read on this one?
Of course there is, and we shall. While Barton details that even she would not be happy with Johnson returning to write the script for Rogue Squadron, she claims it actually tracks with what we know about his trilogy. What? She points to the fact that Johnson's previously announced Star Wars trilogy has not officially been canceled by Lucasfilm and Star Wars. And that Johnson has maintained in public statements that he's still working with Lucasfilm. Johnson told Entertainment Tonight back in October 2019, "I have no update at all, but I'm still working with Lucasfilm on it, and they're figuring out when they do what and everything." Okay. What do you make of this latest gossip? Do you think Ryan Johnson, whatever name you want to use, is this unannounced script writer for Rogue Squadron? I don't think so. I've given you my thoughts.
No,
I
well, considering KK is, like uber feminist and whatnot, why on earth would she place a man's name beside a woman?
Well, honestly,
surely she would want to promote women as much as possible, with all that, the forces, female stuff.
Kiri?
I said it's because it's Ryan Johnson. He's not really a man.
Well, beyond that, let's do this. Let's say that just because, I mentioned it, that George ends up being the writer here. George is a man. And is that a good faith effort on KK's part or others' part to, kind of bring some of the fans back to the community? Number two, knowing what we know, or at least what I've reported multiple times and others, have also reported, that Alan Horn and Bob Iger are really leading the charge when it comes to theatrical projects. Do you think they would actually let Ryan Johnson in the door to do a film?
No.
Third. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say on the first one you mentioned, I get the sense that KK will just screw George Lucas over, just like what Bob Iger was saying in his autobiography. They would just screw him over at some point. So I couldn't see that happening.
Okay.
Yeah, like they'll bring him back.
At this point, I'm gonna treat it just as it is, as a rumor. Take it with a pinch of salt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loath to attack motives at this point, so I'm just going to wait and see.
Right.
Yep. Kiri, did you say something?
Oh no, I was just coughing.
Oh, okay. Was that Sam? I heard two people. That's why I'm asking. I don't. It can't. It's not Ryan Johnson. But they do. She does use the masculine pronoun when they're talking about the writer. So it's somebody. It could be a guy that we do or don't know, or it could be somebody returning that everybody likes, like a George Lucas, or it could be somebody that's famous that hasn't touched a Star Wars movie before. I would love to see a Quentin Tarantino Star Wars movie.
Well, he's been approached. He has been approached.
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And with Star Trek not really in the cards, why not do a Star Wars movie?
Well, so, I can also throw in Taika Big Titties, because he was also approached after season 1 of The Mandalorian to write a film for Star Wars, not just for Marvel. So
I'll ruin your mythos in a minute, baby.
Yeah, he will.
I truly hope it's not Dan and Dave.
Speaking of, D&D have been pretty much put in writer and producer prison. So we'll see what actually happens.
Yeah, it's over for them.
I pray.
Over for them.
I pray. What were you saying though, Culture? Before I said that.
Oh, no, I was just going to say one other tidbit is that since everybody's already started to speculate about Ezra Bridger coming back, there has been talk about live action Ezra Bridger, even actually played by the voice actor, Taylor Gray. Right. So, we'll see where that falls as well. So there you are.
Right. I feel like he would fall in the Ahsoka show.
Well, you wouldn't be wrong, but
right,
anyway,
right.
Yeah,
I know.
Quite possible you could see Ezra in Mandalorian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or in the Marshals one too. I mean, they're going to do crossovers. I see them more touching Ahsoka show with a crossover of the Mandalorian too, being in both worlds. So
hey, they have to do their best to create their version of the CW. And boy,
I said this. I said this in the super chat in the Dark Council last night. Disney is, with all these announcements, Disney and Lucasfilm are trying to make Star Wars into the MCU, and that's not going to work. The MCU formula does not work for a property like Star Wars.
True.
I forget who said it, but someone said, I forget who said it, but was it they're throwing a whole lot of shit at the wall and hoping
and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
Oh no, absolutely. This was last night's spaghetti dinner, and they're just figuring out which noodles stayed on the wall. It's going to be and here's the other problem. They're weighing fan response right now because, believe it or not, everything they announced cannot possibly be made, at least not within the time frame they're talking about. And getting this film together and actually made and ready to go out to the world, if it actually goes to a theatrical release, is very unlikely for Christmas 2023, considering they don't have scripts yet. They really don't know where they're going as far as, the bulk of casting and so many other issues. So, and boy, like I said, I mean, if of everything that was presented, you were looking at 50% girl power on the screen.
To kind of add on to what you're saying, Culture, I don't think that, at least of all the stuff we've seen, I can guarantee at least a few of those are going to be canceled along the way, just because it's so early. Yeah, just because it's so early and there's no scripts, and it still feels like there's no plan either.
The only thing I could say is if the Mandalorian keeps in its popularity, if Ahsoka takes off, if the Cara Dune one takes off, you will see more of these going to production. But if they falter, well, we've seen it before in other, look at DC. They redid everything that they were planning. Look at Warner Brothers, that Dark Universe. They had one movie when they were planning on like 5. I mean, it's true though. It can all be derailed so easily. So, it definitely to me, it's more of how do the next shows that are in production or close to production, how are those received? Because it's not going to be a movie, not for a little while, right? Culture. I mean, it's going to be a couple series on Disney Plus before they release a movie, and take their chances with that.
Well, I think that unfortunately right now, they are going 180 degrees the other direction from where they were headed a year ago. A year ago, we were in timeout mode when it came to Star Wars. Now we're in, oh crap, we need everything that we possibly could get. And it's we're in this really weird place that Disney's trying not to offend the old fans now for whatever it's worth. But at the same time, they're breaking canon, which is offending the fans. I mean, it's just like I don't think they understand just how important a consistent storyline is to people who have been following these characters for decades and decades. I mean, this is not a friend. I mean, we just had the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back. So this is not a short-lived franchise. And the people that you want to keep involved, and the people that buy the toys, the people that get their kids and grandkids involved in it is the 50-year-olds that people like Kathleen Kennedy want to scrub off of the face of fandom. So but getting back to your point, sorry, because that was a tangent. Yeah, I think you're going to see 3 more television programs before we get to a film, and
Right.
I think you're still seeing kind of a rough road, and I've had other people hear it from other sources as well, that the Cassian Andor thing may or may not actually make it off the ground at this point.
Right.
Also, if you want to throw trilogies at a wall, D&D are still it's something that they want to continue, or according to KK, they want to continue to work with D&D for Star Wars, which we know is bologna sausage, along with Rian Johnson's trilogy. But hey, it could happen.
But you know what they did say, though? Not directing, writing. That's why I brought that up. They said they would like to still keep those guys, maybe not directing something, but writing something. God, have you heard that? Have you ever seen anything they written? Because watch the last season of Game of Thrones. You have a 50-minute episode where 42 minutes is people walking, staring at each other, taking deep breaths, and maybe 8 minutes of dialogue. So I don't know what type of Star Wars movie that would be, but it would be pathetic. This question, what's the time difference between Rebels and Mandalorian? Rebels takes place around New Hope, correct? Is it about a 20-year gap? 25-year gap? Maybe somewhere around that range?
Ezra would be in, I want to say, 50s, maybe. Maybe
right.
60s. Here's the problem.
That old? Ezra is kind of young.
Well, yeah, I want to say 24.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you're right.
But I could be wrong. I suck when it comes to the EU with that kind of stuff. I just don't have the memory for it. There are people like Laura, OG Star Wars, or Steve Kenobi, or several folks that have much more chops. Even Script Doctor, who's not here right now. When it comes to the timetable, ABY, and all that other stuff, because I can't. My brain doesn't. I'm
trying to remember when Rebels took place. The show. The show is well, go ahead.
I was going to say, Raging Rhino said Rebels ends at Return of the Jedi.
Thank you. That's
so he wouldn't be much older. He'd be maybe in his 30s.
Okay. All right. If that's the case, then even better, because I was thinking if it was in A New Hope, you had considerable number of years that passed. So
all I know is that he was young and Ahsoka Tano was an adult.
Right.
Yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr. is a douche nugget. Yes.
Right.
He is a douche.
And think this time last year, the talk was that people had Star Wars fatigue, when we know that was not the case at all. It was just you had very bad content that destroyed the mythos, that destroyed the continuity. And now now look up to a year later where they're announcing all these new projects and such. It's gonna fall. This plan, whatever approach they're going, it's gonna fall under its own weight. It's gonna fall under its own weight.
It seems like the acts of a desperate person.
Yeah, it feels like under acts of desperation. And keep in mind, there's already talks about the Ahsoka series bringing on the Veil of the Force, which will rumored to be completely wiping out or erasing the sequel trilogy. So
it makes sense.
Pile on.
It makes sense to do that. Raging says he'd be only 25. I thought he'd be closer to 35. So I'm glad Raging is here as always. Guys, check out Raging Rhino's channel. Make sure you subscribe to him and everybody in the panel here. They should all be listed in my description for this video below. And Rhino, you are always welcome. If you see the link, jump in, brother, anytime you want to, if you're up with your cup of coffee. Yeah, I don't know. I just can't see, it has to be rumor. It has to be. I don't even think there's a fraction of a chance that Patty Jenkins a female director is having Ruin Johnson write her movie for her. If anything, it's somebody bigger, somebody more famous. Who did someone say what he did this last episode of Mandalorian? Rodriguez. What's his name?
Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, didn't he do a Mandalorian episode? Didn't he just do that last one?
He did the 19-page action script.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Okay.
But he would. I mean, I would watch his film. That'd be an interesting Star Wars. I'm more of a Quentin. I would like to see Quentin Tarantino do one, starring Nick Cage or something like that. I don't know. I just
Nick Cage would be great.
Yeah, anything. Come on, Nick Cage he's a legend, a crazy legend. But I want them to bring him back as a Ghost Rider with better special effects, but still as crazy as he's been. Like, I want him to be the Ghost Rider. Maybe partway through it, he dies and they, bring in the younger kid who drives the car. But I would love to just see Nick Cage for a while as Ghost Rider again in the MCU. That would be legendary. All right, let's see what else we got. I think this is an important one, Casino. The second one from Bounding into Comments, the one about swapping.
Yeah, give me a minute, and
I think that one is important.
Give me a minute,
about it a lot.
And I will whip it out. So
yes, sir. Nick Cage. That's what I like. Nick Cage as a Jedi would be amazing. I agree. Larry says Mario Puzo. That would be interesting. All right, here we go. This is our next article and topic, everybody. And we talk about this a lot on Rogue Entertainment and here on The Dump. We talk about every single Redhead comic book character. They're finally listing it for us that has been race swapped. We discussed this a lot. How redheaded characters are always swapped out for insert somebody here. Black female character, Asian character, gay character, but it's never a redhead character. We're finding out that the studios have a prejudice against redheads. What were you going to say, McKee?
I was going to say, have the article up if you want me to read this. Okay.
Is this you? Is this you right here?
That's culture.
Brother. That's culture? Yeah, if you want to read it, culture can read the last one. That would work out great for me.
Here we go. All right.
This
is coming from
Makani and his reading voice, everyone.
All right, thank you. This is coming from Bound in the Comics, John F. Trent. Every single redheaded comic book character has been race swapped. Film studios have made a habit of race swapping redheaded comic book characters, and we're going to list them all for you today. Let's get into it. The first one, Cyclone, which is introduced in the new Black Adam film by The Rock. The upcoming Black Adam film featuring The Rock recently announced that Maxine Hunkel, aka Cyclone, who first appeared in Jeff Johns and Dale Eaglesham's Justice Society of America #1, will be played by Contessa Swindell. Maxine Hunkel is a granddaughter of Red Tornado, my uncle, and would be recruited into the new JSA by Power Girl, Mr. Terrific. She's extremely intelligent with an IQ of 145, also a bookworm and having a GPA of 4.0 at Harvard. When she was a child, she was kidnapped by the villain T.O. Morrow and injected with Red Tornado's nanobite technology. While the technology didn't affect Maxine right away, it would manifest by the time she was in college and give her significant wind powers. In fact, just one of her sneezes destroyed her grandmother's garage, and she was able to summon a tornado 500 feet tall. Let's see what is in here. The CW race swapped Hog Girl on both Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow. The actress was played by Ciara Renee. Hog Girl's alter ego, Shaira Sanders, was introduced in Flash Comics #1 by Gardner Fox and Dennis DeVille. At the time of her introduction, she originally had black hair. The new Hog Girl from the planet Thanagar would be introduced in Brave and the Bold #34. This new Hawk Girl was named Shaira Hall and was a Thanagarian police officer like her husband, Cutter Hall, the new Hawkman. She would seem with her red hair as seen below. The next one, most common, is the CW race swapped Iris West in the Flash series. A character routinely crosses over through her Arrowverse shows. In CW's version, the character is portrayed by Candice Patton.
Who's great. Who's great and
absolutely.
beautiful. Great and beautiful.
Absolutely. The character was also expected to get race swapped in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but in the theatrical version, the character was cut. She is expected to show up again in the upcoming Snyder cut of the Justice League, and she'll be portrayed by Kiersey Clemens. While Iris West particularly portrays brunette in her debut appearance, showcase number 4, her hair is an auburn appearance. And the auburn hue was showcased throughout much of the DC animated movie universe films, as seen in the screenshot below from Flashpoint Paradox, and I also think Young Justice as well. But
right.
And another common one, CW race swap Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, which they cast McCabe Brooks to play the role of Supergirl. Interestingly enough, in Olsen's first appearance, Superman 13, he's shown blonde hair. However, in the debut of Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, his character has now had the iconic red hair. Another common one is Wally West in the CW Flash, they did bring a black Flash in the New 52 as well. Like Iris West, the CW also race swapped Wally West in the Flash and its Arrowverse universe. The character is portrayed by Kenyon Lonsdale. While Wally West is first introduced all the way back in Flash number 110, he had his trademark red hair, which I actually do like. I should do like Flash series as well. Starfire. All right. Starfire was race swapped in DC Universe and now HBO Max Titan series. The character portrayed by actress Anna Diop.
And she's great. Beautiful.
Yeah, much better outfit than first season. Much better. Starfire first appeared at DC Comics Presents number 26. Was created by Marv Wolfman and George Perez in 1980 as part of the New Titans. Her first appearance has her orange skin and flaming red hair. Next one, Batwoman. Batwoman, sorry. Batwoman was most recently race swapped in the CW's Batwoman series. Actress Javicia Leslie will take on the moniker Batwoman as she plays a brand new character named Ryan Wilder, who was also introduced in the comics in a Batgirl issue recently. In her first appearance,
stop you there. Hold on. I wish Jayne was here, not because Jayne's black, but because Jayne really. No, it's just because Jayne always has a valid point about like why they do this. Like she has her own ideas on this, and it really is one of those things. Like, why is it always and we're seeing it for the first many of them. It's always a redhead is swapped for a black character. Not only, but I would say we're going to find out. I would say definitely over 50% of the time.
Yep.
Why is it always the redheads? Like this, we're not going to get any answers, I think, in this article. They're just all the different ones. But it's amazing how long Hollywood's been doing this with people not really pointing it out other than us in the fandom.
Well, yeah, and it's not just limited to comics. I mean, look at when they announced the live action Little Mermaid. Ariel is going to be played by a black girl instead of some ginger. Yeah. Her first appearance in 52, number 11, she has her iconic red hair is both as Batwoman and as Kate Kane. Although until the Detective Comics number 854, where they retconned her long hair into a wig. Although even in that issue, her hair was still red underneath. April O'Neil. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles character April O'Neil will be race swapped in the 2018 animated series Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where she was voiced by Kat Graham. The character originally appeared in the second issue of Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird's black and white Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series, while the character was reprinted with colors showing that April was a white woman with blonde hair. While April was originally had brown hair, the character also been depicted as red hair in seeing the original TMNT animated series, as well as the TMNT Presents April O'Neil series. Electro will be race swapped in Amazing Spider-Man 2, which would be played by Jamie Foxx, who is coming back for the third MCU Spider-Man film. Yes. Fox has also claimed that he played Electro again in upcoming Spider-Man 3. Electro's first appearance in Amazing Spider-Man number 9, he's shown to have a dark red hair. Commissioner James Gordon.
Okay, before we go on to Commissioner Gordon,
sure.
Let's culture. What do you think? No, really.
aside from saying that I had very little to add on this thing, all of this stuff really frustrates.
Oh, you said I had very little. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You said I had very little to add to
I
this
misread that, buddy.
It's
I am
okay.
so sorry.
My point is, it's going to be the same point I've made every time they do this. You are taking away from what was originally created instead of doing something new. You are cowardly if you can't create something new. If you have some high-minded ideal or idea and you think that you have to convey it, do it within your own property, within your own creation. Don't destroy, assassinate, replace, remove, whatever words you want to use, something else to try to accomplish your goal. If your goal is that worthwhile and that earth-shaking, that groundbreaking, that much of a contribution to society as a whole, let it stand on its own, because obviously it should be able to.
And that's another thing, the people come and say, well, it's only a cartoon character. Well, okay, but why is it always one direction it's okay? And I don't want to get into too heavy into this, but you notice it. If it's a Asian character that they make white or a black character they make white, there's an outrage. But if it's a white character, a historical white character that now will be Henry VIII, black wife, why is that okay? Why?
Because power and privilege and some shit.
They made that huge stink about Scarlett Johansson playing in Ghost in the Shell.
Rugged Tug or Rough and Tug or something like that.
No, Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, Ghost in the Shell. Sorry.
But you're right. She gave up a. Did she give up one that she was going to play a trans character too?
Yeah,
right?
that was it.
She didn't give it up. There was so much backlash about it in the trans community that they canceled the project.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God!
Because
wow.
She wanted to play it, and everybody said, "Oh no, you have to have a trans person." Blah, blah, blah.
Right?
And I'm trans, and I thought, "Fuck, I'll love to be represented by Scarlett Johansson."
I would love to be represented by Scarlett Johansson. God, she's hot. Why is that? Is right? So do you? I know this answer already, but I'm going to ask you for the people out there. You don't fall into the category of someone that feels if it's, a trans character, it has to be a trans actor, or if it's like an Asian trans character, it has to be an Asian trans actor. Like acting is acting.
Exactly. And, the whole thing that came up with Umbrella Academy with Elliot Page, they're all saying, oh, well, now this person can't be that character because they're trans and they're playing a cis person. It's like, it's still fucking acting.
Right.
It doesn't make any difference either way. So why are you saying it's okay for one, but not okay for the other?
I'm with you.
Because they have no standards.
No standards.
Yeah.
Yeah, they backpedal, and again, it's whatever strengthens their argument.
And
so
this is what I find this. Sorry.
Yep.
I find it somewhat hypocritical. I find it somewhat hypocritical that more often than not, these are the same people who are saying, we want to tell stories that are told by Black, Indigenous persons of color, right? We want to tell these stories, right? And for all the fuss they make of it, you would say that, for example, when you look at Black Panther, he has to be Black. It is essential that he is Black. And they act the same way. I'm trying to shorten this as much as possible. Sorry, guys. It's a bit of a rant.
Don't worry about it.
But they act as if it's completely essential that Black Panther has to be Black. And you know what? I completely agree. But it seems to me that the hypocritical part is race and gender seem only to be absolutely essential when you are not white.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to say it out loud too. It's and we'll be called every name in the book for saying it. But if Black Panther has to be Black, does Superman have to be white?
As I said, racial essentialism is very in vogue these days. I mean, It's ridiculous.
Right.
But
Say, Kiri?
only in the direction, of not white.
Exactly.
Right. Right. And
Everyone else is fair game.
Right. And I understand a massive look, the soul of the character Black Panther is black. The soul of the character of Luke Cage is black. A bulletproof black man was a big statement back in the day. Now does that turn on a white character? Is there white characters that the soul of that character is a white person? I don't know if I could really say that, but well, go ahead. Makini, what do you think?
It might not be an argument, but I felt personally that was a problem, and that was Birds of Prey. I felt that there was no legitimate reason whatsoever to race swap Black Canary,
right?
Especially if it is Dinah Lance. I felt like there was no reason whatsoever.
And I only bring this up in the spirit of holding people to their own ideological standards here. There's no real justification to go either way. If you have a problem with for example, I have no problem with non-traditional casting, which means any actor in any role. That's fine. But I would expect Black Panther to be black as much as I would say, talking about Lord of the Rings, Galadriel to be white.
Yes.
For example.
Or now, not a lot of people might not know this. There's, you have the Game of Thrones prequel coming out, House of the Dragon. Jayne Theory did a great video on this, but they're race swapping one of the Valerians. It's a family. Now, they're turning this character from a white person to a black man. The problem is the Valerian family is a pure blood family, pretty much just like the Targaryens. They have a little bit maybe with Dorne, but mostly they are a pure blood family from old Valyria, which everyone either had silver or blonde hair and blue or violet or purple eyes. And they're turning a character like that into a black man. How? What?
It adds to another issue that I have, is that with
say that again. I lost you there.
Sorry, it adds to another issue that these race swaps, it feels more like hand-me-downs.
There you go.
They would sloppy seconds, hand-me-downs. It would be better off if you just made a completely original character that is black or is a person of color of this race, sex, and gender. I think it would do a lot better in representing, getting that representation you want. Just make your own character versus trying to.
I think it's it does. I mean, Danny Sapani, the actor who's in this role, it does him a complete disservice because he is a great actor. And he deserves something better than just to be called, that black guy.
Right.
Like a black version, rather.
Well, it depends on how it's done, too, because, like you said, it does feel like a hand-me-down or, a disingenuous reasoning or whatever. Going back to Ghost in the Shell, they explained the race swap in the story, which made sense because she's an android. So they put a Japanese brain in a white-looking android body. And the original creator of Ghost in the Shell even stated never once in the manga or the animated series or anything was Major Kisaragi's race ever.
Kusanagi,
sorry.
And let's not forget that Kusanagi was actually shown herself as the Japanese girl.
Exactly. Yeah. It's lampshaded in the actual film.
And so if it's done that way and there's a reason for it in the story, sure, no problem. Like, I'm not big on Spider-Man, but the thing with this Miles Morales or whatever, he's a new character taking on the mantle of Spider-Man. So that makes sense.
That's doing it the right way.
Gay, Peter Parker being suddenly gay, or something like that. It's a
or
new
Star-Lord being bisexual. All of a sudden.
Or Iceman.
Well,
Iceman,
yeah, or
yeah.
Iceman being, all of a sudden. It's the all of a suddens, Kiri, that I think gets us. Again, this might not be a character that everybody knows, but changing this Valerian into a black person, the soul of the character is like, it sounds, but they're white superior. It's like a supreme type thing. They are the perfect race, they consider themselves. So turning them into a black person ruins the idea of the character because of their almost white privilege in the story. I mean, George Martin wrote it that way for a reason.
Yeah, and I mean that would be like having a unit of the Nazi SS in a period film being all black. It just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And the thing is with the list that we're reading off here, some of these, like I would say Candace Patton is probably an exception to the rule because she still plays the character well. Even if it's just a race swap, she still stays true to the character.
Well, no, and that's fine. A lot of them do. It's the idea that what's the point? Create a new character for these actors.
And that's the other thing too. I mean, before we get into accusing people of ulterior motives here, I mean, a lot of people would say, oh, she could be the best person for the job. And I'm thinking, well, that may or may not be true. But if you look at other roles, I mean, they're perfectly happy to cast other roles according to type.
Right.
But not
like Flash himself.
Yes, exactly. And I'm thinking, well, is this deliberate as well? And it makes me think, yes, it is actually. But yeah, well, but that's just my opinion.
I think when it comes to casting pre-existing characters that have been portrayed as a specific race, regardless of the race, that should be honored. I mean, imagine a black Tony Stark. It just doesn't make sense because he's always been a white guy. This thing with Commissioner Gordon, he's always been a white guy. Superman's always been a white guy, and that's just a product of the time. If you want to have a black character in those roles, change the character.
And that's what I said. I mean, if you didn't have some sort of problem, whether it be with anyone really, if you didn't have some sort of problem, you wouldn't feel the need to change the character.
I mean, Sam and I have discussed this at length with each other that they're so willing to change, for instance, Iris West, how they portray her, and yet, okay, they've obviously shown themselves they don't mind race swapping. So, and let's just say, Iris West herself as a redhead is her brand. It's like, what makes her brand,
exactly, Aaron?
Less than, say, someone like Flash? Why cast type to him and yet not for her? I mean, Sam and I said this, ages ago with, for instance, A Discovery of Witches. Like, if they're so willing to erase, for instance, this character, Agatha Harkness's Australian Aboriginalness, and replace her just for an English black woman. Like, why do they do that and not for instance, the main character, Diana Bishop? Why cast Diana Bishop as a blonde white woman like she is in the book? Why not make her, African-American herself as well?
I think the problem is, notice this list is a lot of the characters in comics, these aren't majority main characters, these are more side supporting characters.
I think people are more forgiving when it happens to secondary characters, I think.
Right.
Yeah, like Perry White. Lawrence Fishburne was great as Perry White. Great as Perry White. But when you're talking now, let's say it wasn't Henry Cavill, but it was a black actor. I'm sorry. These two Jewish men wrote this character because he was against what the Nazis were trying to spread, their hatred in the world. So they created their Superman that was, a superior white person, but was there to save everyone, no matter who it was. Like, there was a reasoning behind them making Superman. And to not honor that, like Kiri's saying, it's a disservice to the memory of these men. Yeah, to the creation they made. Make your own. And don't get me wrong, Makini, you could probably sit here for an hour and tell us all the comic book characters and manga characters that are of some racial, diversity than white that they could use in a movie or TV show that would be amazing. The only problem is they want brand recognition. So let's take Batman and make him black or Asian or, like they did in that high school thing.
Karen Prime pointed out a white Blade wouldn't make any sense because
no, it wouldn't.
His race, him being black in the story was integral to the character.
Yep.
And I mean, Wesley Snipes played him perfectly. So
yep,
it was part of his brand.
Yeah, and
just like Ariel's red hair and purple shells and green tail is her brand.
And I could say, I mean, I don't know if you guys agree with this. Maybe being a white character isn't a brand, but being a redhead is a brand.
Yes.
When you have a redhead, like, yeah. Look at, MJ. MJ, again, another race swap.
No.
Yes.
No. That's not a race swap. No, it's not.
That was a race
swap. I refuse to believe that
what did they do?
Whoever Zendaya was playing is a freaking race swap. That's not MJ.
That's not MJ. Okay.
No, it's not.
Let's see if she made the article. Go on.
Okay.
Let's read them off.
Sorry.
You don't even have to go into no, Makini. Don't even go into the full thing. Just read the character. Let's look at who the actor is.
All right.
So Commissioner Gordon replaced with Jeffrey Wright.
All right. So Commissioner Gordon is getting a race swap treatment in the Matt Reeves Batman film played by Jeffrey Wright. Yep. Gordon was introduced to Captain 2026, and his older hair and his grade. Next one, Heimdall of the Thor series, who is portrayed by actor Idris Elba. Heimdall, who appeared in Journey into Mystery with his facial hair and eyebrows, mostly definitely black, as seen below. However, in Thor 156, when he confronts Recorder, his facial hair is most definitely be changed to add to a red hue.
But then again, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Bo.
Oh God! No,
we're not going here. She-Ra in the character is voiced by Rex Scribner in the Netflix Noelle Stevenson's version of She-Ra.
Would you even call him black? He's sort of that sort of Tumblr-esque, racially ambiguous.
Yeah, it's just ambiguous. That's all you have to say.
Bo, initially the character was red hair in the anime series, in the comic he is black hair. Ariel from Disney's Mandalorian will be slapped in the upcoming live-action version of the film. Will be played by Halle Bailey. She's very pretty, very cute.
She's got a lovely voice.
But she's not Ariel.
Absolutely. But it's not Ariel, yeah. And Ariel, the character has appeared in a number of comics, even the graphic novel Ariel the Sea Wolf. And also, isn't The Little Mermaid based on a Celtic fiction?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, definitely. Was it Western Europe?
Yep.
Yeah, that's more Germanic, I think, right?
Josie of Josie and the Pussycats. Josie and the Pussycats race swaps in CW's Riverdale series. She was played by actress Ashley Murray. First appeared in #1 by Archie Comics, created by Frank Doyle and Dan DiCarlo. She had fiery red hair in the first cover of the issue. Isaac from Netflix's Castlevania series, where the character was voiced by Adeto Kumbo McCormick. Isaac was originally a video game character, appeared in Curse of Darkness, and he would jump to comics in the Curse of Darkness manga by Ko Sasakura. Ripcord of G.I. Joe. Reza Corbo was played by Marla Wayans in the film, but codenamed just one word, Ripcord. And even in the animated Renegade series. Ripcord was first name. And then we have Flash Thompson. Flash Thompson was race swapped in the MCU in Spider-Man Homecoming Far From Home, played by Tony Revolori. While Thompson's been depicted as a blonde in most recent comics, the character had noticeably red orange hair in early appearances, even in Amazing Fantasy number 15. Mary Jane Watson. Mary Jane got the rate no.
Wait a minute. What's her name again?
Mary Jane Watson.
Oh, okay. Just making sure that's what they called her. What would her
they did
initials
not call
make
her.
it?
No, they did not call her MJ.
It'd be MJ, right? Okay. Yeah.
Mary Jane got the race swap treatment. No, it wasn't. In the MCU by Spider-Man, where revealed designs, Michelle Jones goes by MJ, a nickname previously used by MJ.
I bet you in the next movie she says, "Go get him, Tiger."
Oh, fuck.
Oh, man.
Lana Lang was swapped by
that
Kristen
was
Pruitt
my favorite. I'm sorry, my favorite
WB
race swap ever. That was my favorite. I
Lana
love
Lang,
her.
First appearance in Superboy, she has auburn hair. Alicia Masters in the Fantastic Four films, who was race swap when Kerry Washington played the character. And this is Chris Evans is
yeah. Wait a minute.
Wait
a minute. What's Captain America doing there?
Yeah, he was Johnny. Yeah, those who don't know, he was Johnny Storm in the
that's
first
right.
two Fantastic Four films.
That's right. I thought Johnny Storm was black. I'm sorry.
Well, she'll be race swapped in the animated series as well, voiced by Sunita Prasad. And Strawberry Blonde hair. Let's see.
We can certainly go on and on and on and on and on.
Little Orphan Annie. Yeah, if anybody remembers the 2014 live action.
I think we made our point. We made our point. I mean, look at them. Just keep scrolling. Just keep scrolling.
Let's see. Oh, Artemis.
Yeah. I mean, if you just keep scrolling.
From my favorite series, Red Hood and the Outlaws.
It is a lot of friggin' red hairs that turn. They're trying. It's prejudice against redheaded people. That's all I'm saying, people.
I am offended.
Yes, Kiri, you should be.
That's why I changed my icon.
my anger is probably nowhere near close to Geeky Sparkles, who got really, really pissed off seeing this article. This makes no sense, and no, I don't care what you guys say. That's not Mary Jane.
Huh?
Where is that?
Oh, it's Kiri.
Someone being attacked by pigeons.
That's not me.
I'm sorry, it's the birds around my house.
No, I'm just kidding. It's okay. It's okay. I don't know, man. What?
They decided to have an argument right outside my window.
No, it's fine. It's fine. They're Asian birds, so it's okay.
And also, we could bring up Johnny Storm in the Fantastic Four, 2015 Fantastic Four, despite the fact that Johnny and Sue Storm are supposed to be siblings. So it didn't make any sense whatsoever.
She was adopted. God, that movie was great. What a good movie. I can't wait for the new one. All right. So anybody have anything else on this? I mean, it's just something I had to go over because it really, when I first looked at that article, I was kind of blown away by the number of redheads. And it's been in recent years. It hasn't been in like the last 40 years. It's been in like the last 15, if that.
Well, I think what it might be is because red hair is generally associated with white skin, green eyes, that whole thing, that they're trying so hard to erase the minority of white people. I mean, they want to say get rid of all white people, but they're targeting just us gingers because we're such a minority. And it's almost like, they talk about, representation and this and that, but we're a small minority already and we're getting erased, but it's okay because we have white skin.
Well, exactly. And these people will nearly always, I understand that certain people were marginalized in the past. And Hollywood has a horrible reputation for quote unquote whitewashing and all of that stuff. But you can't use history and the abuses and the atrocities committed in history to justify committing more of your own in the present. It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah. Zendaya is not MJ. I refuse to acknowledge that characters.
Hashtag go get him, Tiger.
Honestly,
shut up, Scott. No.
The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, I think, is the best rendition out of all of them.
Spider-Man 2 was awesome.
Mhm.
Spider-Man 2 was awesome.
Yeah.
3 sucked
agreed.
ass.
Look, you know what? Let's go on a random thought process here. Who was the best? Okay, who was the best Spider-Man? Not Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Are
just
you in terms of just like live action?
Live action. Who was the best Spider-Man? As
Andrew
in
Garfield.
the costume. Me too. I agree with you.
Andrew
I
Garfield,
would have
hands
to
down.
agree there.
In The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man,
Yep.
not as Peter Parker, as emo Parker, but as Spider-Man was closest to what I always imagined
Mhm.
Peter Parker to be. Now, if we're going to go cartoon, it was Chris Pine, but you know, as in live action, Andrew Garfield rocked it.
Look,
Hands
kill
down.
me later. Kill me later. I think Tom Holland's not without his charm, but I think yeah, he's not without his charm. But I actually really like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man as well. I think he was pretty cool.
So,
But I think that goes with his portrayal of Peter Parker. He played Peter perfectly as a teenager,
Absolutely.
geeky, nerdy, socially awkward. He did that perfectly.
yes,
Absolutely.
Mhm.
this is my feeling on it. All three of them make my list. You have Andrew Garfield's the best Spider-Man. I think personally, for me, Tom Holland's Peter Parker is the best Peter Parker, but combined, Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man Peter Parker combo.
Agreed. Yeah.
Wow, I have never heard Scott be more wrong with such enthusiasm.
Let's hear what you have to say, Mr. Culture Casino.
Can I say one thing?
Garfield. Oh, go ahead, please.
No, I was going to say one thing. If we're talking, if I would put it this way, if we're saying like Peter Parker in high school, then yes, Tom Holland plays that high school Peter Parker down. But
Yes.
as far as post high school, getting like into his career as Peter Parker Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire.
We haven't seen Tom Holland do it yet. The only problem I have with Tom Holland's Spider-Man is that he's a Avengers groupie, which Spider-Man never was. But Culture, teach me.
I got into a very lengthy debate, and probably Machini remembers, with Caffeinated Wolf, Andrew, about Andrew Garfield versus Toby. Toby's the best. Toby's the best all around. Is for the entire portrayal of the character. He was the best. He was the best Peter Parker. Now, the mannerisms and performance of Spider-Man, I could give you Andrew. But I absolutely think Tom Holland is not qualified to even fall on the list. So there you are.
Yeah, no, and I'll give you that. I wanted to get him on the list. I like Tobey Maguire way more than I like Tom Holland. The only reason I don't pick an Andrew Garfield is because his Peter Parker was way too cool, way too emo cool.
He was way too much Edward Cullen from Twilight.
Yeah, he was too mopey for me.
Yes.
And also Tom Holland on the other side of things. Tom Holland didn't have the gravitas of the Uncle Ben thing going on.
I think they did him a great disservice by not exploring his origin.
Aunt May.
Oh yeah. Oh God.
Hey, Marissa Tomei. But yeah.
Hey, she's hot. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Wait a minute. So
that's not Aunt May.
Is Aunt May supposed to be bangable or not? That's
not.
No,
she's supposed to be an old crone. She always was.
Let's put it this way: Aunt May is supposed to be like a Stephen Walton bangable. Like, it doesn't matter what age. Okay. For most people,
I'm sorry, Scott. Stephen may float your boat. For me, he's a no. And it's interesting that this would be the place that you'd start to talk about that. But I just would like to say that Stephen does not fall on my list anywhere at all. In any of those so,
wait a minute. This doesn't say, "What up, Aunt May? How you doing tonight?" Come on, that's an Aunt May. Like, how you doing, Aunt May?
If it's Stephen,
Can I do you have osteoporosis? Let me take care of that.
I was gonna say if it's Stephen Walton, it's Tony Stark versus Tobey, yeah, maybe, but
yeah, right. Now I want to get back to this thing though, right here. I don't know where I was wrong, other than saying Tom Holland played the best high school Peter Parker, because I felt like he
exactly did. That's where you were wrong. So you went. Yeah, you were, but it was with conviction. You did it with gusto. You know, Kiri seems to be the only level-headed amongst you. That's all I have to say.
Yes. Well, she's awake. It's early there. But Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 2 is still the best Spider-Man.
Agreed.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, let's see if we got time for this last article. We'll just run over it real quick. Mr. Casino.
Oh, okay.
If you want to bring up that Cyberpunk article.
I did. And
it's about a week old, so people have talked about it.
Apparently it got unshared somehow. So here it is. There you are. And here we go.
All right.
And away.
All right. Well, and where we go.
Cyberpunk 2077, one of 2020's hottest games, boycotted over transphobic stereotypes. Was it?
Yeah, was it? I'm gonna have to press X to doubt on that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I jump in here?
Absolutely.
No,
please
Kiri, take the floor, please.
Well, as you all know, or may not know, I don't know. But I am trans, and
wait a minute.
When I read this article, what's that?
I said, wait a minute. What are you doing on this panel? I thought we were all isms here.
Oh, they call me that too,
folks.
so I'm right in there with you.
Yeah, that's true, Kiri.
So after I heard this, I mean, I've always been into cyberpunk. I love the genre and everything. So I got excited when they first announced it, and then kind of lost interest because of the delays and everything. But then when I read the articles from who was it? It wasn't Collider. It was CBR and all of that stuff. I decided I'm buying this game and I'm going to start playing it on release day. I'm now about 12 hours into it, and I have been actively searching for the transphobic content, and to this day all I have found that even remotely hints at it is a single advertisement on vending machines.
Mix it up
that shows a very feminine figure with a prominent bulge in her leotard, or whatever you want to call it. But alongside that is, scantily clad women, topless men, etc., etc. And you got to keep in mind, this is a dystopian future that the corporations have basically taken over everything, and they are, I want to say victimizing. That's not the right word. I keep forgetting. Exploiting, yes. They are literally exploiting everyone equally. Men, women, and trans. Trans is not an issue in the game whatsoever. The NPCs don't react to you any differently if you choose a female playable character, V. They don't change whether you are male, female, or a chick with a dick. It does not matter. You know,
I'm glad you said
that. But and like I said, I've been actively looking for this, going through the story, and I've not seen anything remotely transphobic. And now, after all of this, I've noticed what they're doing now is they're talking about seizure warnings and trigger warnings and all this. They're basically attacking this game on any tiny little thing that they can find. And I can say that the seizure warning thing is bullshit because I downloaded it on Wednesday as soon as it was available. And the first thing that popped up on my screen was a trigger warning, or a seizure warning.
Warning.
Yeah, they can't say that it wasn't there because it was. Saying, they added it later. It was literally there the morning I woke up and started playing the game. You know,
When
and now
PS4
they're
used to
saying
have that
about
warning
trigger
anyway.
warnings and the ESRB ratings and all this other shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sam, Nick,
I can categorically say that, again, 12 hours into the game, and I've been focusing on the main story, not the side quests or anything, obviously, but 12 hours into the game, and I've not seen anything remotely transphobic about it. And this is coming from a trans woman who was actively looking for it.
Right.
Wow.
Um,
There you have it. I don't know how.
I
don't know
don't-
who else could
Do
add.
we even need to read this article?
Well,
I don't know.
well, here's the. I don't think so. Like the other thing is that they try to throw transphobic stuff. Is that the thing is the character creation is detailed to where you can give your a male character female part, so you can do the same thing male. You can even have a female character with a male voice. The
So how's
problem
that
that
transphobic?
well, here's the thing. They complained about the fact that in game, if you do create like a female character with a male voice or a male character with a female voice, the NPCs in the game, they won't acknowledge you as they them or as non-binary pronouns. And that's never enough for them. And here's the thing. And
they
avoiding the culture,
have two voice choices. It's not
yes.
like it's a range. They have a male voice and a female voice. That's it.
Yes,
That's it.
And there are over what thousands upon thousands of lines of dialogue. Do you know how much time and money it would take for them to do something like that, for including NPC dialogue, to add pronouns and stuff such as non-binary and such things like that?
And forgetting pronouns for a second, I haven't played the game, so please shoot me down. But don't they just call the character V in the first place?
Yeah, most of the time.
No matter who you are, it's
like
V.
in Assassin's Creed, they refer to either Cassandra or Alexios as Mystios.
Yes,
whatever. Yeah,
they do use gendered pronouns occasionally, but most of the time they are talking to you, so they use your name. Like,
right.
I mean, I wouldn't say, to Sporking, I wouldn't say, "Hey, how are you doing?"
Yeah,
You just don't do that. You use the person's name when you're always talking directly to the playable character.
And usually in the game, like your gender is usually determined by whatever voice you pick. So if you use a male verse, you'll sometimes you'll say he, sometimes they'll say he and him in the dialogue, and if it's used a female voice, they'll say she and her. So I've heard it a couple of times.
Yeah, and that's literally it.
All I want to say is this: that I haven't heard any of the gendered language, nor do I care, nor would I even have noticed. But I can tell you that I am fast approaching 100 or more hours probably, and I am focusing on everything that isn't the main story. I'm doing the side quests. I'm doing the all of the stuff. I was actively looking for anything that could be in any way transphobic, and I could not find
not even one.
No.
Yeah. My advice to everyone is try not to trust these articles. Do your own research.
No,
absolutely.
No, and besides, there are way bigger problems with this game, and this is nothing. This is just nothing. This is just Twitter outrage mob and games urinalists.
Urinalists, yes.
I love that line, urinalist. That's absolutely awesome.
Well, and even that's not true. I mean, you know this as well. I've now played this game for a lot of hours, and playing on a very good PC, I'm having almost no issues at all. And the ones that I have are minor graphical inconveniences that are less influential. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've got for most of my PC specs, because I'm playing on PC as well. Most of my PC specs just meet the minimum requirements for the game, and I've got my Twitch up, and I'm streaming it as well as watching it on my Twitch to get the chat and everything.
Right.
And I'm only having a little bit of frame drop, and there are a couple of comical bugs that I've seen, like the old woman, the old Chinese woman, I can't remember her name off the top of my
Wakado?
head.
Wakado. Yeah,
You know,
Wakado.
I go to meet her, and she had a mobile phone in her hand, and then all of a sudden it was floating 3 feet away from her hand as she moved her hand around. You know, little bugs like that. But these are, I mean, I've seen them in AAA release games, you know, over the decades. So it's not even an issue. And I would probably say most of my my frame rate drop and everything is because I'm doing so many things with my PC all at once. It's probably my rig that's causing the problems.
And it's something to also keep in mind is that, like, people supposed to say you're on PC, you don't understand. You may not understand that people may have PS4. Here's the thing: I'm playing this on PS4. Runners on PS4. Another Monsters on Xbox One. Yes, the problems are there, but your mileage may vary because I get those same bugs everybody's talking about. It doesn't bother me that much. I'm still able to enjoy it. I'm still able to play it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So your mileage may vary.
So once again, a contrived, you know, just made up someone looking for something that's not even there to create this divisive nature once again.
It's looking for outrage because this is one of the biggest, most anticipated games in a long time, and a game with that much. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you know, for the bugs and everything, the legitimate problems, I cannot see why they are attacking this particular game so aggressively. You know, it's not like for the bugs and everything that are actually there. First off, people were trying to rush them, and because they originally started developing this when PS2, I think, was still the thing.
It was developed in 2012, so it was at the tail end of the 7th generation,
right?
Or 6th generation. I can't remember. Yeah, yes.
And so they were rushing to get it all ready for PS5 and all that. So there's a huge difference between the platforms, and they're releasing it on all of them. So yeah, they're going to have issues with compatibility, but they were being rushed because of all of that. So it's definitely understandable. But you know, the amount of aggressive attacking of this game over and over and over again is just mind-boggling.
Right.
Like it's almost like they've got a personal vendetta against CD Projekt Red.
And that could be it. I mean, this could be, you know, let's create drama, you know, use something that's a hot button subject to try to destroy this company.
Yeah, and I'm just responding to who was it? Was it Soul Assassin? I mean, could it be that there's this competition going on between Cyberpunk and The Last of Us 2? Could that have something to do with it?
Well, certainly.
Yeah, and here's the thing: it's like now your miles, and I say your miles may vary this because CD Projekt Red has shown that they haven't bent the knee to the outrage mob as much. They've been focusing on trying to create that kind of quality product that we got from The Witcher 3 and such. So that might be the case.
I think too, you know, because even though there are political undertones with the game, it's not real world current year political, which is what the outrage mobs seem to be wanting. They want real life in everything. You know, and the whole point of games, movies, etc., all of our entertainment is supposed to be escapism, and they don't want that. And I think that's probably
in a dystopian future where corporations have full control, not of just a city, but of the country. That makes sense.
We're headed that way, bro.
And we are headed that way.
And yeah, I think that's the other thing too. When you were mentioning about The Last of Us 2, like that was the darling of the Twitter mobs.
That's the gaming. It was the gaming media's darling. It was
because it was so woke that it was completely broke.
Oh yeah.
you know, and I never played the first one. I heard lots of good things about it, and then I heard about all this shit of the second one, and I just like, I'm not interested whatsoever.
We've touted it. Many people touted it is the last Jedi of video games.
Oh Jesus, that bad, huh?
Oh, it was
It's
worse.
very divisive. It's incredibly divisive. In terms
I remember them talking about playing a character who murdered the favorite, and you had no choice. Murdered the favorite character from the first one or something, with little or no, resolution to it. Something along those lines. I can't really.
Or no regard for the history of that character.
It's like it's comparable to Last Jedi in that everything is fine except the story. The story is so bad that the story is so bad that it ruins the mythos. It destroys what comes.
Well, it's not even that. It totally spits in the face of it. I mean, I didn't play Last of Us or Last of Us 2, but from what everyone tells me, the character in Last of Us that they then kill in Last of Us 2 are two different people, but it's the same character.
Mm-hmm.
Treated completely different. You know, a good guy in one turns out to be someone that deserves it in two, which is ridiculous. And they did that to Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker was the best of us, who used love and family to bring his father back from being, the next emperor, pretty much. Bring him back from the dark side to become the chosen one he was supposed to be. And what do they do to him? He has a bad nightmare and decides to maybe kill his nephew.
and drink and throw his lightsaber, drink Seacal titty milk as well.
Yeah. Laser sword, you mean? Laser sword. Oh my God, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there.
Sorry.
We're going to actually wrap it up, guys. It's 9:00 here on the East Coast, and the snow is still falling. So I might have to shovel a little bit before I go to bed. So I like to thank everyone in the chat for being here. I've been reading the chat the whole night. You guys have been killing it. So thank you guys. Thank you to Roof Korean 92, Larry Runner, Soul Assassin. Oh God, there was everybody. Ord's Board, Witchfinder General. What a great name. Dark Shadow Logan, Cavatino. I can't do it, brother. I'm sorry, or sister, whatever. Steve Ernest. Another monster, Deviant Porg, Mad Mardigan. We had the Great Raging Rhino in the chat. We had a lot of people. Karen Prime, Tina was in the chat. My well pump just kicked on, so if you can't hear me, I'm sorry. Yeti Cast just is in the chat. So thank you to everybody. If I missed you, I apologize. You guys have been great. Let's do our outros. First, we will we're gonna leave. No, we'll start with Kiri because she is the guest. Thank you for being on. It's an honor to have you on my panel. I hope we can do this again soon. But let them know where they can find you.
Okay, so I'm Kiri Morning. You can find me on YouTube at Kiri Morning. Twitch, again, Kiri Morning. I'll give you all the links. Facebook, Instagram. I do have a OnlyFans, but it's very, very vanilla. Patreon, all that good stuff. But I do Geek Speak on Wednesdays, where we talk about different geek culture topics, and we generally go off topic most of the time anyway. I do some trans-related stuff, especially on Sundays, where I update on my surgery journey. So
cool.
If you're interested in learning more about the whole process of being a trans person, that would be the place to go.
Thank you, my friend. And you got a new sub from Karen Prime. So guys, make sure to go to Kiri's page. Her link is in the description below. So, you can X out of the chat, go to my description. It is in there. Where are you right now? Where were you before? Let's just say, Karen, before we started the stream.
Last time I checked, I was at 517, I believe.
Okay.
Actually make it 518. I just subbed.
All right.
520. Sorry, 520.
So let's hope we can get that past 550, guys, because I have a lot of people who watch this the next day or two. So if you are listening to the end, thank you, as always. And make sure you guys get Kiri. Let's get her to 550, hopefully by the weekend. But I appreciate you being here.
My pleasure.
All right. Next up, we have Sam McCabe.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me, guys. I am on Twitter. You can find me there. I'm also on YouTube. I talk about writing and publishing. I am a writer. My latest video was about teaching the classics. I am also a high school teacher, so that's why I'm in there. I've done trailer reactions and other sorts of things. If you could like and subscribe, that would be really much appreciated. I'd love you all for that. And that's basically it so far.
Thank you, Sam. Everybody's link is also in the chat. Thank you, McKinney. Nick, now you guys got the facial hair difference. I can tell you apart. Nick, where can they find you?
I am also on YouTube at Nick McCabe. And I'm most active on Twitter at the moment at Mr. Mooney Blue One. At the moment, as Roger says from American Dad, I've got some big stuff going on. So keep an eye on this space. And yeah.
Thank you, my friend. And next up, we have Machini 90.
Good afternoon, good evening, good night, everyone. We thank you for stopping by. My name is Machini 90, the Inquisitor, the artist of Rogue Entertainment, one of the mods of Rogue Entertainment. You can find me on YouTube, where I do my weekly draw streams every Wednesday and Sunday. We're getting into the spirit of winter in Sunday for Sunday's draw stream. We just finished one with the great Joyce Gauss, who stopped by. So yeah, have some fun. Join us, have a lot of fun, and we're making a push to get my numbers back up. So stuck at 346. So I want to try to just make that next milestone push to 400 or so. Thank you.
We'll get you there, buddy. We will get you there. Thank you. And the great, the amazing Culture Casino.
Hey everybody, Culture Casino here saying hi and hello and how are you doing? And I'm so glad everybody joined us today for this very special episode of the Wednesday, the Hump Day, the Humpty Dump. We really appreciate it. I know Scott does. I wish that someday Scott will have the ability to actually say hi to all of you on screen, on camera once again. So hopefully, at some point, Scott will, I don't know, borrow a computer, something. Anyway, I have to say I was
so close.
I was really, really excited that Kiri was going to join us today. I was a very, very early supporter of Kiri. I unfortunately have noticed that I was unsubscribed. So Kiri, I resubscribed, and that's a problem we've all been having lately. We have been getting unsubscribed by YouTube. YouTube's going around and unsubscribing you from your favorite creators. It's happening. If you haven't seen a video from somebody in a while, that's probably why. So I wanted to highlight that because I had to resub to Kiri. So now, Kiri, you have me as a sub again. And I can't wait to catch Kiri mornings like I used to. So anyway, it was great. It was great to hang out with you all. Thank you all so very much. We would not be here without you. And on that note, Scott, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Casino. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. Yes, the Casino Man is right. Thank you guys in your donations and the great Culture Casino for putting together a build for me. I will have a computer after the new year. I'll be ordering it right after Christmas. So stick around. There will be no longer avatars needed. We'll be able to run a proper show, as most people would say. Don't forget to pick up and support your copy of the Phantom Menace volume. Oh, that's not it. The Phantom Menace volume 2. The great Stephen Walton is, documenting the journey we've all been a part of, either in the chats or on as, content creators. And please support him. I don't care if he's over 100% or close to 100% or at 3,000%. The man is documenting something that's very important to us all and is really good at it. It's a really good book. So please make sure you check out Stephen Walton's channel, check out his Twitter, follow his Indiegogo, and make sure you support that the best you can. If you can't support it monetarily right now because of, 2020, make sure you share the link. because maybe someone can. But other than that, guys, we are done. So I just want to say thank you to everyone once again. Thank you to my channel members. Without you guys, the computer would not be coming. And this one is for you guys. Put a spork in it. We are done. I'm a damn good looking Wonder Woman.